Hello everyone, and welcome to Professional Commentary. This is BoBoJava, and today we will be having a look at Thea the Awakening, Return of the Giants. So I'm assuming I'm getting a little Attack on Titan vibes from this little backdrop. The little backdrop at least tells us everything we need to know. There will be giants! They will be plentiful, and they will have tummies full of earth, I guess. Anyway, so we're gonna just jump right in there. Jeez, that was loud. Yeah, so I was looking at this game earlier, so I'm just gonna. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna lose all my settings. It's cool. That's okay. So cool. We learned some stuff from our previous playthrough. That's okay. And it's just gonna go. So here we choose our little deity, so we can choose Svarog, the god of the sun and heavenly fire, the first son of Perun. When the darkness came, it almost took your life, filling your very being with its curse, but you held on to life and fell down to Thea to protect those of your worshippers who still lived, providing small rays of sunshine and warmth for as long as you could. You ensured their safety. You know that how the sun finally you know not how the sun finally returned, but know that it has. You must shine a light of hope and blast the way for your people and for Thea. So, being the god of the sun, it's kind of weird how you don't know where the thing that you're the god of just went, oh, done, I misplaced it. It's like being, you know, having car keys, and it's just like, well, I'm still making payments on it, but it's fucking gone. I don't know. And each one of the little gods have their own little blessings and bonuses, like Svarog here gives us sun blessing. Blah, blah. Guided by the power of the sun's return, your villages gain experience. Foster, righteous convictions, all of your villages get a +2 bonus to speech and +3 to attractiveness. So our people, they beautiful. Then we have Zoria, which kind of looks cray-cray to me with her little sharp teeth and axe. She looks like she just wants to hack into you and just not let go. Now, I played with Svarog previously, and he's kind of cool, I guess. Let's look at Zoria. Dual goddess of the morning and evening stars. Oh, with the little face. If you look at her face, she has two little masks things. Okay, dual. Stars the Aurora and the Guardian of the World-Devouring Hound Smargle. Smargle. When the darkness came, you chose to fall down from the skies and use what power you had left to protect your worshippers. Now the sun is back, but only a few of your people remain. Hungry, weakened, and scared. It is time to rise up and whip your men and women into shape and have them fight for their future. So, choosing your deity is basically just essentially getting a couple of bonuses. So Zoria here gives us stellar education. Your people are driven to succeed and impress their goddess. They gain experience faster. So both of these guys pretty much the same. When you get to level 2, the warrior's path, all your villages get a +1 bonus to damage and ranged bonus to damage and 2 ranged. Okay. So this guy is speech and attractiveness. So we'll get to why speech and attractiveness and things like bonus damage and all that is important. Okay, ooh, I've never seen this. Gatherers! Village focus, warriors, gatherers, craftsmen. So, gatherers are pretty cool. I will not play on godlike because just new. And, okay, normal. Yeah, we're gonna play with Zoria because I haven't played with her before, so we're just gonna choose the crazy person with her teeth barred at me, wanting to go at me with the axe. She looks very aggressive. He just looks like, look at me, I have this broken sword made in MS Paint, but that's okay. I want to eat your stomach and entrails. I will wear your skin like a hat. So we're gonna go with the crazy woman who wants to, like, wear her skin like a hat. Blah, 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 blah. This is the same thing we read before, and we have a little loading time. Ooh, fancy. And we're loading. Guess we can go back for a little while, too. Finish loading. There we go.
Thea is awakened. Welcome. No time to waste. You are a deity of the High Pantheon, and you must help your worshippers survive the darkness.
Wow.
So what now, you ask? You are divine, yes, but you have little power, and so you will know the world through your people's eyes. This means sometimes you will encounter your own divine messengers, and maybe even face your own avatars. Weird, I know. Your first mission is to survive. Every critter is trying to make sure you stay down, so get food and craft better equipment to protect yourselves. You will guide your people to victory. either by sheer survival and progress or by solving the cosmic tree's mystery.
Okay. So, yeah, not everything is voiced, so the things that aren't voiced, I shall give them voices with my beautiful mouth words. And you get to make little choices. So it's a little RPG kind of thing, and I don't know, what's this? Who's talking to me? And what did you mean? Looking with people's eyes. Otherwise, you can just skip the tutorial. I am a deity, you know. I already know these things. You don't need to talk. Blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna do that because I'll explain as we go along. This is Theodore. He's a little demon man. Yeah, the whole thing. You will be facing your own avatars and your own messengers and all that kind of stuff. That just kind of seems like GM bullshit where they go, that this is the reason why, because there was darkness and such.
All right. Now are you absolutely sure? There is no calling me back, you know. Also, when you have time, craft me 10 cooked, baked, or roasted food, any type. You may want to research some varieties as well to match your supplies. Also, leave these 10 crafted foods in the village until I show up. Remember to check the magical help button to read more. Yeah, I know more about any mechanics.
Cool. So, yes, I'm sure. Craft the cook things. I shall leave the tutorial! He's just gonna make me, like, kill some boars and eat a banana, I don't know. Just basically teaching you the basics of the mechanics. I feel like the developers in this game thought their what do you call it? Their mechanics were really difficult. So I feel like they were too hard on themselves because it's not that difficult. I just feel they could have explained it kind of better. Okay, so it seems like every time you play the game, this is the little map that we look down on. It's kind of like a Civ style map that we look over. We have the fog of war all over the place, and there's a little expedition. My previous expedition was mainly women, and that's the thing I like about the game is depending on your party composition, or we're just gonna look at the party here. This is our little party here. So we have Silibrat, Bog Bogodara, Kazik, Himislav, Vehezul, Bratomir. So we got these 6 people, but our composition is more male than it is female. So your little expedition, I don't think you can rotate the camera. No, I didn't want you to move. Okay, well, they're just gonna go over there. Previously, so you right click to have your expedition move. Previously that didn't work for me. I had to click on them again, select move, and then. But now it seems to be working. So this is our little expedition. They can move anywhere within this little highlighted region. Very civvy-like stuff. And we've entered a location. So we can see there's another location, here's a location, there's something, there's something, there's something. So that's how you move through the world, and when you get to a location, you press the little
You stumble
search
across
bit.
some ruins of an old city, engulfed in mist and mystery.
Ooh. So let's search the
You
place.
open one of the buildings, a strange-looking stone and metal-built affair, and you hear a clunking noise, then a blunt thud. Before you are able to do anything, you see a skeleton charging your way.
Dwam! So we found a little encounter here. So then we're gonna fight them. So we're gonna go there. What we're going to be fighting is a skeleton and 4 hulking rats. So some of the times you can auto-resolve if you know your party is really much stronger than whatever you're going to be facing. You can just auto-resolve. Usually that's okay. I haven't had an instance where I thought like I could beat the crap out of these guys and it went poorly for me. So the skills that you use, every little one of your people. I wish I could look at view group now. It's too late. I'll do that later. Every character has different kind of skills, much like D&D. They have little skills, and they put their skills automatically in them. You can't specifically level them up in things. So yeah, you have direct attack skills and you have tactical skills. All of them will come into play, and we're just gonna begin combat. So again, so loud. So look at what we look at here is basically this little shield is our health, essentially our hit points, our defense, it's our defensive stat against whatever they're gonna throw at us, and then we have the little sword as our offensive skill, and then we have shielding. This value will be added to your defense when it enters the battlefield. So essentially, when they attack you, they decrease the number here next to your shield, and you do the same to them. When the number reaches 0, the card, this is the little card, the card is taken out of play. So it's a little mini game. They when you read their little hints, tips, tutorials, whatever, they say it's really complex and you need to really pay attention, but it's not that complex once you really know what to do, because they make it sound really like, oh, I will never figure this out, I am going to die. But it's not that difficult. So there's our little character's level. It's level 3, 3, 3. This guy's level 6, 3, and 2. And these are little helper skills that these guys are gonna give us. We'll go look at them as we use them. So this is actually good for an offensive, because you can deal with encounters different ways. You can. This is now specifically an offensive way. So we're just gonna keep them shuffled. You can reshuffle once for free, or you can just surrender and be a coward. But we're just gonna keep in play, so that should be fine. It's the player's turn. So sometimes the enemy starts first, but here the player is going to start first. So we're gonna throw out this guy. Or this guy. Ooh, he's actually better than this guy. This is 995, so essentially, if I throw out this guy, his health would be 14, so the 5 would be added to the 9, so it would be 14. And his offense would stay 9. This guy is 10, 10, 5, so this guy's better. So we throw him out, he's our first guard. So we end our turn, and the opponent, he'll throw out his cards as he wants. That's a pretty strong thing. See, if you throw out your tactical cards, you can use Get Closer, which allows this character to be added to the combat. But he will be confused. In other words, he won't be able to act the very first turn. If you're confused, you cannot act, but these cards also have other abilities, like first action. If I throw this guy out, we'll look at it later. If he uses one of these cards, it won't be confused like this guy. But you can use one of your tactical cards, like this one, and if his level, the level on with the card here, is less than the amount we have next to the confuse, that card will be confused. But we'll get to that as we go. I'm going to throw out. This guy doesn't have a lot of. He's technically worse than this guy because this guy is shield. So the shielding gets added to your health in a combat encounter like we have here. If the character's health, the defense, is lowered at all, lower than the max number we have here, we have 9. So if this goes to 8 or lower, this character will actually be injured in future, and he will have to heal through time by eating and resting and that sort of thing. But we're going to throw him out because he has defense, so even if they attack him, if they can do up to 5 damage, and this guy will still be healthy. So we have 1 extra card left, so this tells us how many cards we can play per turn. So as I was saying, I could either throw this guy out as well, I could throw one of these guys out, or I can make this guy act before the skeleton. So the way the combat will go is this guy will attack, then this guy will attack, then this guy will attack. It's left to right, essentially. So it's a little pipeline. We start at the left-hand side and we end at the right-hand side. So if this guy isn't confused and he isn't killed in the first round, he will attack him, the skeleton will attack Silabrat. But if I have both Veshesul and Silabrat attack first, they'll probably kill the skeleton in the very first round. So they won't necessarily attack the guy on the left, but they will either attack an enemy on their left or an enemy on their right. I'm not entirely sure how that's chosen. It might be random, or they might just choose the weakest one to eliminate the weakest enemy first. So I will put him first action. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw him in so that these guys can attack first and hopefully get rid of that skeleton, because that skeleton is kind of scary with his 11. Oh, he has a high HP and his attack is quite hefty as well. The rats aren't so scary. They're all level 1, as you can see here. He got 2 cards, so he threw both of them out. So these cards aren't confused, which means this guy will attack, this guy will attack, this guy will be, the first round, he will be confused, and then the rats will attack. So I don't really want the rats to attack. So the main thing I can do is, even if I can confuse both of these guys, he will throw out this card, which won't be confused, and that rat will attack one of my guys. So the rat's attack is between 4 and 3, roundabout there, and this guy has poison, which means if he attacks, he will poison damage doubles when attacking an already wounded enemy. So if one of these guys gets injured and he attacks, that's going to be bad news bears for me. So the other options I have is Shield Ally. So this Shield Ally, we essentially take his shielding effect and we'll add it to the leftmost card on our allied card. So we can add an 8 here or a 9 here. The other thing we can do is, since this guy is quite tough and he does a heck of a lot of damage, we can throw him in on our side. So what I will do is I want to throw her in because she's way more badass than this dude. So I'm gonna shield him. So even if he takes attacks, because they'll probably attack him first because he's the closest one, and then I'm gonna throw her in simply because she's just badass. So she can probably take 1 or 2 hits from the rats easy without affecting her at all. So she's going to be confused the very first round, so she's not going to act, which is fine. Even if the rats attack her, it's probably going to be okay. Then we're going to throw in Himmelsschlaf, which is our last card. He can't do anything other than attack because he's part of our offensive little cards here. So now that all the cards have been dealt, we start the actual combat. So there are 2 fight phases. If within the first 2 fight phases you don't kill all the enemies, a new combat will essentially happen. Okay, so yeah, they're just trying to bring her down, which is fine. See, from what I saw, they'll do up to 7 damage usually. So usually they'll do around the damage that's specified. See, that's why I defended him, because he's totally fine. Oof, 2 guys are injured. We'll be okay though. And then we beat the shit out of the last rat, hulking rat. Why does it always start with rats?
You search the buildings and discover a supplies store still intact.
So we got a lot of cool stuff. Then, as I said before, if your little guys get injured during the combat, it will carry over to actual damage if it is a combat encounter. So in other instances, you can maybe use a sneak encounter or a speech encounter, and that won't be damage that carries over. They might screw you over by saying, okay, but you get poisoned, or something like that. But through the most part, you won't. A combat encounter isn't necessarily the best way to get rid of opponents. So we got some resources, which bones, meat, these stuff all get used in crafting. So it's a little resource management, which we'll get to now when we get to our little city. This is a ribcage, so we look at it, it gives us 3 armor and 4 shielding, so that'll be added to health, and that'll be added to the character's that little shield icon, which gets added to the health on top. If we choose to break it down, what we'll get is 8 bones, 6 embers, and that's the weight of the item, and it is used within one hand. It's essentially a shield. So I don't want to. If you want to recycle it and get the icons, you just left click on it once, and you get this little recycle icon over it. But we don't really want to do that, and that's also not a bad weapon. Does 12 damage, so we'll just keep that and see. You can always break it down later. You don't have to break it down immediately or else. So we're gonna take the stuff. We're gonna level up a little bit. Get some research points. Close. So here's our little research points. When our research goes up, we have 1 point here. We can choose one of the little things around us, and we can research that. And then this will research screens allow you to spend advancement points to unlock new research, crafting, and construction recipes. An advancement point is given when enough research points are collected. Research points are gained by crafting, reconstructing, visiting ruins, and also summon some events. That's not really important. So when we click on, let's say, this little thing, because we just collected some amber, this tells us what the little amber does. It gives a little description. Says we will get +5. Researching amber will add 5 units of the research to your settlement inventory. At least one piece where and at least one place where it can be gathered will always be revealed after researching this. Are you sure? Sure. So we're gonna close, and if we click on this little icon down here, this will show us what can be collected in an area. So here we can collect some food, some vegetables. Here we can collect some reeds, some straw, some wood over there, some veggies over there. And somewhere, oh, there, over there we can go collect some amber. So these guys can still move, so we're just going to move them up to to over here. So here's another encounter, which is probably going to lead to a combat encounter. I can't really do much about that. So as you move around, you'll either encounter little combat encounters, or you'll find uh, ruins and stuff like that, or you'll just come across more resources that you can collect. And we'll get to why you can collect resources and why that's important for your little crew here. So when we go to our town, we see our little deity that we chose up there. She looks much less psychotic in that picture, but anyway. So, equipment. When we come to equipment, we see these are the villagers that currently stay within our town. She looks way too overburdened and just sad. Just like, why do I need to? Why can't I just watch SpongeBob all day, every day? And we have a bunch of folks here. Some of them, the little icon tells you more or less what they do. So this person is either a crafter or a warrior. This is a crafter. Those are tongues. So here's a crafter. That's a crafter, gatherer, and a gatherer. You can just basically tell with the little icon that they use. So if we go to, this is the equipment, so if I had extra equipment, I can just pop it onto them, and they'll then use it. So sometimes things will attack the village, and you can just, these guys will then essentially defend the village. So I don't want to start a new expedition, manage supplies, so they'll burn fuel and eat food, etc., that sort of thing. Go away, little icon man. And you can then tell them, you are not allowed to use twigs or whatever. And this tells us how many food supplies, for how many rounds they have food, for how many rounds they have fuel, how far, if I made a new expedition, how far they would move, and what the group size would be. Equipment, inventory. This is the stuff I have in my inventory. I have some clay, I have some amber, some malachite. I have 4 children. The children grow up and they also become villagers in their own right. So the main thing that we have our little town for is production, because our expedition crew will go out and they'll discover things and beat up baddies and steal from the rich and give to the poor and all that sort of nonsense. But for the most part, sometimes they're gonna need to come back to town to get more food, to get fuel, that sort of thing, so that they can continue on being badasses of the wilderness. That is where these guys come in handy. So you'll need to collect building materials. So you're going to need to collect vegetables. You're going to need to collect straw and wood, so that they can continue. So they'll use the vegetables to continue exploring, and the wood to burn to make fuel and that sort of thing, so that they can, I don't know, have light and fire during the night or whatever. Straw can also be used as fuel, but it can also be used in building materials and crafting. So we go to crafting. So you use gathering tools and crafting tools that you can make. These help these guys be better at their jobs. So obviously gathering tools will help gatherers gather faster and gather better. Crafting tools obviously help crafters like Ustka craft faster. So okay, so we only have one crafter specifically. Ustka is our crafter. But everyone else is basically very good at gathering. So we've got a 6, so the little number tells you how good they are. The lower the number, the worse they are, that sort of thing. So if we wanted to make clothes, so essentially armor, or cooked meals, which, yeah, let's just throw something here, and there, and there. So this gives, tells us what it is. It's cured meat and dried strips of meat. So the reason why you want to have different kinds of food, it doesn't matter, they'll just eat the normal, like, meat, is the more different kind of foods they have, they get bonuses for that. But for the most part, let's just go, we can construct. and you can construct different buildings like a pasture. If you do that, can we? We're probably not going to be able to, would we? Are we? Nope. Pastures give you 1 meat or whatever a round, and they also attract villagers to your town, which is cool, so you can continue growing, that sort of thing. But we're going to need some food, so this plus 60 is what she's adding. So if this bar fills up, i.e. if we get 60 points in here, we will get 14 food. So because she is giving me a 6, so she's really, really good at it, so she'll just fill the bar every round and she'll give me 14 food every single round. If we use Gvetstoslava, she'll give us 30, so 3 for 30, and it'll take her thus 2 rounds to give me 14 vegetables. So I'm just going to go for food for the most part. We're going to throw Zustka into wood, and we'll throw her into straw. And then, what I will do, because Ustka is not doing anything, can we make some gathering tools? If we make gathering tools, that can make we can bring the 3 up to a 6, which means every round she'll be giving us wood or straw or whatever we throw her at. We don't really have a lot of... We have some wicker, which is essentially for the straw, and this is how you make... You can choose different materials. Different materials will give you a different result. So leather versus rope versus clay will give us a different level of items. So we're just going to throw in some clay there, and then we're going to throw in the wood down there. So this is giving us gathering +4, so that's crazy good. And obviously if we use just normal straw, you get different tiers of items. So you get normal wood, and then you get elven wood, and you get gold wood, and all of this kind of nonsense. So the better, obviously, the item is, the better your end product could be. So instead of tools making for the gathering, sure, we're gonna confirm. Then we're gonna throw Ustka over there. This is gonna take her 3 rounds to complete this. See, this takes us 176 points to fill in this entire bar. So this will take her 3 rounds to make 1 set of gathering tools. If we want to make more, we click on the little plus, but we don't have the resource for it, so we're just gonna make 1. Anyway, so after we do that, we end our round. Is there anything else? We can swap between our groups with this, or space with the button down there. With button we can go to our settlement. You only have 1 settlement. I don't know or think that you can make more settlements. I haven't gotten to that stage yet. I haven't even gotten to the stage where you can build more buildings. I only know the pasture. So we're just going to end our round, and then...
A pigeon flies to your village with a note attached. It reads, "Dear residents of the lovely settlement, if you will, please visit my humble abode, placed not so far from your lovely home. It is very nice. I am a blacksmith of dwarven tradition, and I have an offering for you, kind people. Yes, there is a small map drawn in strange purple glowing ink."
Ooh. So every now and again, every round, there's a chance that some random encounter could occur. It could either occur to your little party, your party that's going around, or to your village. So this has happened to our village, and then you basically have to deal with whatever it is. It could be good, it could be bad, it could just murder everyone in your village. I don't know if it can. That would be really, really douchey if they did that, but who knows, maybe. Alright, it may be interesting and worth a check out, so essentially there's no reason why you wouldn't. Cool, so these guys didn't do anything. It's the Rat Witch. The murderous, murderous Rat Witch. So we could have a choice. We can either go to the smithy, or we can go kill the Rat Witch. The smithy is interesting me more right now, because I've done this mission before. I think this is one of those general missions. You will always get this. We're going to talk to this guy.
Hidden away in a quiet alcove, you discover a single house amongst ruins of some old town. There is smoke coming from the chimney, and the sound of hammering inside. This is clearly a smithy. You notice an unusually large pile of rocks sitting by the house.
Emperor's house!
As you approach, the hammering stops, and a dwarf walks out to greet you. "That's far enough, strangers. You do not want to anger Chael. She gets very jumpy, that one." The pile of rocks opens its eyes and stares at you. It's definitely a rock troll.
So here we have our little choice, where we could either go, screw you, I'm gonna kill the rock troll. The little skulls next to the option tell you how difficult it is. Your possibly dangerous choice. Some choices may be more difficult than others. Number of skulls from 1 to 5 represent the scale of the danger. So we could either go, screw you, dwarf, I'm going to kill your thingamadoodle. The dwarf is probably going to be angry at us and also attack us, so I don't really want to face a rock troll with level 3 guys. It doesn't seem like a smart idea. It's the kind of thing that if you were playing D&D, your GM would say, are you sure? So we're just passing by, we got your invite, our village is not far from here, but, well, we've never seen you.
Hey, your village, aye. Well, truth be told, I move around me, and I don't trust any stranger coming to see me. Unless I want you to, you will not find your way here, hence the invite. And this brings me to why you did find me. I have a wee problem, and if you help, I will give you a full set of armor with some good weapons and all. You see, I've got me a kind of, well, a female problem.
Right, so yeah, if you complete his quest, he'll give you some stuff, which might help you, might not help you. Depends on really what kind of gear you already have. But for the most part, as a what now, full set of armor, weapons, whatever your problem is, we're here to solve it. So let's just
well,
go.
it's kind of embarrassing. You know, us fallen dwarves, that is, the ones who stayed behind when the darkness came, we tend to be solitary types, at least when it comes to females. After all, no dwarven woman chose this sad fate, at least not one I know of. In any case, the story cut short, there is a cute demon girl, the nice type, mind you, living nearby, and, well, I tried impressing her with my smithing, but she doesn't like weapons. I tried sweet-talking, but turns out it ain't my best feature. So if you go and convince her to go out with me, I will give you the prize.
Cool! So we're just gonna go point him in the direction.
This is a serious matter, mind you. She can get a bit nasty if you're
It
not careful.
doesn't matter, okay,
excellent.
let's do it. He just tells me that her sisters might murder my face. And there's the first little quest. We need to head over there and get the demon to go out with our little dwarf friend over here. But that is pretty much the gist of the game. You go around doing little quests and you try to figure out what the story is behind the world called Thea. And yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, the dwarves stayed behind on the planet. I don't know. Did they go to space? Their planet needs them. I don't know. It sounds strange. There's a little witch is running away from us. Turn 3. Screw you, witch. I'm gonna kill the witch. And then we'll probably end with that. So here's our options that we have. Planning is for weaklings attack, so we can either attack the witch and her rats, or we can try be sneaky. So, as I said previously, each one of your little guys have their own characteristic abilities. So this guy has backstab. We're looking specifically for sneak, so his sneak's pretty good. Her sneak is 1, which is poop. His stealth is 1. Her stealth is non-existent. There's no stealth there. So we basically have 2 guys which are kind of okay with stealth. But for the most part, we could try that. It will, rather than using my strength, it will use my stealth to attack, and I think will to resist. My health will essentially be my will, which is not going to be great for me. So that's the kind of thing that you have to do in the game. You look what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and you go by that. So planning is for weaklings attack. So we're just gonna, it's 1 week, a witch and 4 hulking rats. It's not that amazing. It's probably just gonna be the witch that is probably our biggest enemy here. So yeah, our offense is obviously our direct. Our attack would be offense, and defense being our defense. So as for begin combat, your other option is auto resolve. So let's see what RNG has to say. Yeah, we beat the crap out of them, and we got a cool mace. And that is the basic idea of Thea the Awakening. So you go around the world and you try to figure out what happened to the world tree, which is this gnarly tree made up of people. And you either, you try and figure out what you're going to do. Either you just keep on surviving, you keep on trucking, or you figure out what happened to the world tree, you fix everything, and you become a hero. And your deity will be happy. And that's the Awakening. Thank you everybody so much for watching. If you want to see more of this, comment down below, let us know, and we will do a more thorough playthrough of the game. Otherwise, it's all good. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next video. Ciao.